Hi folks, I'm with Two Guys in a Ride, and welcome to our how-to video on the 2021 Toyota Camry, and this is the XSE trim level. Today I'll be covering the driver's information and infotainment screens. I'll do a general overview, show you how to access information, and do a deep dive. Let's get started. Today we're working with our friends at Toyota of Mankato in beautiful Mankato, Minnesota. On the driver's information screen, you've got two analog areas, and then you've got a middle digital area. So on the far left, of course, we've got the RPMs and then engine temperature gauges. Those are analog, and then you've got an analog speedometer and fuel gauge. Now in the middle, we have our driver's information screen, which is all digital, and this is where you can configure things. So to configure that, you're going to use the four arrows and the OK button and the back button on the left side of the steering wheel. So on the screen itself, you're going to notice some little icons on the left side of the digital part of the screen. And I can go down through those. And those are your main menus. Now in each menu you have some extra things that you can do, and you can use the left and right arrows or the OK arrows to get to those. So we're going to start at the very top with a white leaf that we're on now. This is economy. So in this graph, you're going to get the economy for your trip, your total economy, and then distance to empty. Okay, 110 miles. And then it prints your 28.5 miles per gallon. You want to reset that? You're just going to press and hold the OK button. All right, now, if I go to my right, I'm going to get a little eco display while I'm driving to tell me how well I'm accelerating and braking. And then again, I still get my distance to empty. And if I go over one more to the right, I get my digital speedometer and distance to empty. So those are the three things available under the leaf icon. If I go down one, this is like my driver assistance, driver support they call it. But basically you're going to see your lane guidance, your lane keeping assist, your cruise control. And so if I turn on the lane keeping assist here, you're not going to see much of a change, but you would see between the two white lines on the left and the two white lines on the right of the car, those would light up or change colors as you're getting closer to crossing over. Okay, radar cruise control is on, so then you can use the button that's on the top right of the steering wheel to set your gap distance. So I'm going to go down one to media. So now in media it says press OK for source, so I'll go down there. And I can do Sirius XM, AM, and FM currently because that's what's hooked up. Later, if I had Apple CarPlay or Bluetooth, that would show up there as well. And then I just hit select, and then I can pick my presets. And you notice they're mixed up between FM and Sirius XM. And if I had AM, they'd be on there too. Now, I can go up here. All right. Now, you notice at the top where it says presets, it says 1 of 6. So if I press my right arrow, this is the second set of presets, third set, fourth set, fifth set, and sixth set, and then you're back to 1. Okay, and you just select the one you want, press OK, and that's what it's going to play. You want to do volume, that's right down here. Okay, that's your media. So let's go down one more. All right, so here we have two different screens. We have tire pressure, which is awesome. And we have the pre-collision system here. It shows that your pre-collision system, your blind spot monitor, and your rear cross traffic alert are all on. If I push OK, I can go right to blind spot monitor and I can turn it off. Click OK again and I turn it on. If I go down to rear cross traffic control, turn it off, turn it on. Okay, let's hit the back button a minute. So the pre-collision system, you notice I couldn't change anything. I don't know why they do that, but if you just go down one more arrow to the next icon, you can do it. So if I go here and I press OK, I got to press and hold OK, and now the pre-collision system, I can turn that off or turn it on, and then I can set the sensitivity here. 3 bars is most sensitive to 1 bar that's least sensitive. All right, I am going to press the back arrow. The other ones you have, you can make changes on are your lane keeping assist. And here you can turn it on or off. You can set the sensitivity to standard or high. Those are your two choices. Sway warning on or off. This would be particularly good if you're towing something. And if the sway is on, you can set the sensitivity to low or high or standard. Okay, I'm going to go back. We've already covered this one, so we'll go here. So if you want, on dynamic cruise control, if you want curve speed reduction, so it senses a curve coming up and it reduces speed a little bit, you can turn that off. Or if you click it again, you get one, like a low sensitivity or high sensitivity. Click it again and it goes off. All right, hit the back button. We'll go over one more. Blind spot monitoring, simple on or off. And then rear cross traffic on or off. So basically the difference between this screen and this one is this one gives you the basics and allows you to control blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic alert. But this one allows you to make finite changes like how sensitive it is. And you can still turn it on or off. And it gives you a few other options as well. All right. Then we're back to the Leaf again. So that's it on the driver's information screen. Next, we're going to move over to the infotainment screen. On the infotainment screen itself, it is 9 inches, the actual screen. Now, there's some black areas here that are not part of the screen, but the screen itself is a nice 9-inch size. And it has 6 speakers, Bluetooth, AM and FM, XM radio, HD radio, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It is Amazon Alexa compatible. On the screen itself, you've got some very nice physical buttons. And on both sides, and we'll go through those, you got a power and volume, and then you've got a tune and scroll. All right, this is the home screen right here. So that's what we get when we press the home button, and you get a nice split screen. Now, if I click on this, it takes me to a history page, and I can see more information. And same thing with media. If I click on that, it goes to the full screen. Now, I'm going to hook my phone. So I just click register. Would I like to register one now? Yes. Then I'm going to turn my phone on, go to settings, make sure Bluetooth is turned on, and then, it found it. So I'm going to hit Nathan's phone. And then, does that pin match? Yes. So I hit that. Then on my phone, it says, do I want my contacts and favorites to sync? I'm going to click don't allow. If this was your car, you would definitely want to click allow. Otherwise, your contacts and addresses don't go in. If I press phone, I want to show you this with Bluetooth because that's how my phone is hooked. But there's my keypad. And then if you wanted to look at your history or your favorites, all that would show up right there. And that's what it looks like. And then you would just say, click on your contact to call. Now, if I go to menu, I'm going to see some basic icons where I can control information on the car. For instance, audio. All right, if I go to source, I can see AM, FM, Sirius XM, but I can also go to my phone now for media. Okay? Then you got some basic fast forward, rewind, skip songs, play, pause, repeat, loop, that kind of stuff. Okay? So that's where you go on the source. What I want to show you though is how to tune and how to save a preset. So if I want to tune, I can go over here and just rotate. Now I'm going to be honest. This is a small button. It's not the silver button that you're turning. It's the little black one. And you don't have much of an edge. So really, that isn't too convenient. You're going to end up pushing something you don't want. But that's one way. Okay? The other way is you can go over to, of course, click on a preset. All right, you can look at a station list. So here you got, all classical country, and you can browse through, and Pick what you want. And you can also do, if I go back here for a minute, you can get a station list for AM or Sirius XM as well. Now, under options, okay, you can have HD radio for AM on or off. Same for FM, on or off. Let's see, FM info on, and then scan on or off. If you want to change the sound, you're going to go under sound here, and this is where you get your treble, mid, and bass. And unfortunately, you cannot drag these with your fingers, so you have to use the plus or minus buttons, but it works the same way on all of these. So you got to press the buttons. And then you have the automatic sound levelizer, which is going to make the volume levels sound consistent no matter if you're driving nice and quietly or in a really noisy environment. So it's going to raise or lower the volume of your music automatically. All right. And so let's go back here. All right. You do have more presets here, and I want to show you how to save one. So I can just press and hold, and it will set it. Over here, of course, there's the other way to tune, just by using seek and track right here, backwards and forwards. That was audio. You notice I get two different things when I press it the second time. I'm going to go to map. So this vehicle does not have navigation installed on it. However, once I hook to Apple CarPlay, which I will in a second, when I hit map, it will go to Apple CarPlay and pull up whatever navigation I last used. So it's nice to have that button. I'm going to go ahead and plug in my phone with the USB cable, and it should go to Apple CarPlay. Now, I get a choice. Do not enable, which means it will stay on Bluetooth. Enable just this once, or every time I plug in, always enable. For me, that one works the best. Then on my phone, it says allow CarPlay with Toyota Camry while phone is locked. You would definitely want to click OK on that, or allow. That way you can shut your phone off, put it down on this beautiful wireless charger below the infotainment system, and leave it there. So, remember I told you that map button would bring that up? So let's go to home for a minute. If I press map, see, brings me right to Google Maps, because that's what I last used. Okay, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, one of the best inventions for infotainment systems in cars yet. So basically these are your most recently used items. And if I press this one, I can toggle between a screen that shows apps and a split screen. So I got navigation, commands for the navigation, and then my media on my phone. So can I play Sirius XM or FM or AM and still use Apple CarPlay? Yes, as long as you're not playing audio from Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. So you go to Sirius XM, you get your channel, then go back to Apple CarPlay, use your Google Maps. Okay. Now, I will point out that I've got Apple Maps, I've got Google Maps, and I've got Waze, and almost any app you have will work. Also media, I've got Pandora, Sirius XM, let's see, Amazon Music, audiobooks. You can get text messages without having to touch anything. It's really, really convenient. So if you've never used Apple CarPlay, it's way better than Bluetooth. Take a minute and play with it. Now, people say, how do I get back to my Toyota system? Well, you can press the home button, okay? But you can also just press the Toyota button. Either one will get you back. All right, so let's go back to menu for a minute. Let's take a look at info. So I can take a look at Eco or Vehicle Alert History. So under Vehicle Alert History, it'll send me a message if maintenance is required. So if I click on that, I get just a little thing, and if I hit play,
maintenance required. Vehicle maintenance is required. Contact.
Okay, you get the idea. All right, and then you can delete that history if you want. Hit the back button again. Eco information. Now, I got the screen earlier. I showed it to you. But not only can you see this, but you can go to trip information and see all this. you can also clear it right here. Back to the history page. There's where you clear it, there's where you update it. Let's take a look at setup. So under general, I can go in here and set the clock. Now, I should be able to just click on the clock and it brings it up too. Yes, most cars do that. I can change the language right here. Just click on the one that you want. But let's talk for a minute about customizing the home screen. So remember, I had eco information, phone, and audio. So it says, what information would I like to display? Well, I'd like to display, I don't have a map, so I want to display phone, and I want phone over here. You notice how it changed? So if I say change layout, I could actually pick a different. I can have two big screens. I can have the big screen on the left, the big screen on the right. You know, so lots of ways to customize that screen. See? So I'm going to leave it the way it was, and I'm just going to go back to home for a minute. And you notice this is my phone now. Okay? And then I can just click on it and go right to Apple CarPlay. So really there's no need to have that big, but so you can customize it. That's the point. Projection settings. This has to do with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. If for some reason you're buying a used car and you get it and you're like, I've got an Apple phone and it's not turning on, well, go into projection settings and make sure that that's turned on. Okay, so now I have to unplug my USB and replug it. Same with Android Auto. So just a nice thing to know. The screen beep. You can turn that on or off right there. As is typical in Entune systems, you can change the theme. So it just kind of changes the colors a little bit. All right, if we go down, this is where you can change units of measure. Keyboard layout, delete keyboard history. Why do people put that in? Well, all right, if you've owned the car for a couple of years and you have been typing in addresses, you know, when someone else gets in the car and they start typing something similar, it may pop up. So you can delete the keyboard history right there. You can also turn off memorize keyboard history. Now, that also means that if you type in an address frequently, it's going to make you type in the whole thing. Whereas memorize keyboard history, as soon as you start, it pops up suggestions. Animation, okay, you can turn that on or off. That just has to do when you start the car and the gauges will go up and down and stuff. Driver setting. So with this is kind of like a driver profile. So it says here you can do audio presets, button colors, language, all that according to a paired in Bluetooth phone. And you can enable that right there. You can delete personal data. This is a really good thing to do when you're selling the car. Okay, I'm not going to do that because it's not my car, but if I were selling one, I definitely would. You want a software update? You can see if there is one here, and then it will go, you have to have an active subscription, but then it will check and update for you, which they'll help you set up if you buy the car. All right, that's all under general. So if I look at audio, okay, I've got a couple of things under radio, but here's where you can manage your favorites. So if I go to here, if I uncheck something, it takes it off as a favorite. That's how you're going to delete them. It's interesting that it doesn't allow you to recheck them, but that's okay. That's how you delete them. And then here is where you set the number of presets. So you're like tired of going through screen after screen, you don't use that many, set it to 6. But you can have up to 36. Now Bluetooth and phone are grayed out because I'm not connected via Bluetooth. If I was, those would light up and I'd have a few things there. This is for the voice command. Okay, so you can go through here and say, how loud do I want it to be? I want to do some training so it understands your voice better. Okay, under vehicle, you can put it in valet mode. You can get dealer info. You can go to vehicle customization, and I'll go through one of these, but they all work the same way. So I'm going to say door lock settings. Automatic door lock when I shift from park. automatic door lock when I shift by speed, and I don't want the doors to automatically lock. Okay? So you can go through all of these and make those settings. Lights will determine how long your headlights stay on when the car's turned off, so you get a little extra time to get to your door, and so forth. Okay, now let's go back. This is where you'd set up, again, our spot to do Wi-Fi. And you can read up here, you know, how to connect there, but that's for the vehicle Wi-Fi. All right, okay. So let's talk about, for a minute, because I think that's the end of setup there. Yep. All right, so let's go back to home for a minute, and let's take a look at the backup camera. So if I go here, you do get 3 different options. You get the narrower view, which gives you a non-fisheye look. You can get a wider view, which gives you a little bit of a fisheye on the edges. And then you have these dynamic swivel guidelines. And if you turn it off, you notice the green ones stay. The red bar means do not get any closer to an object than that red bar, or just before it. You're literally like an inch off your bumper. If I click that, I can take the yellow ones off. These don't swivel, they're just static. And then I can just have the red bar to tell me where, you know, like, don't get any closer than this. Or I can put them and then I can put them all back on again. So you do have some nice options, and the camera quality is on par for a vehicle in this category. You know, the screen resolution isn't really super high definition like you see on some of the 2023s, but that's a lot newer technology, and so this is quite good. It will be very, very adequate for use. So this doesn't have built-in navigation, but you have voice commands. So what can I do? Well, you can do things like tune the audio. Like if I press and release the voice command button on the left side of the steering wheel, quickly tune to 99.1 FM.
99.1 FM.
All right. If I had my contacts synced, you notice I could say call Tom, and it would call Tom. So the other thing I want to show you, though, is that you can access either your Google Assistant on your Android phone or your Siri Assistant on your Apple phone by pressing and holding the voice command button like this. Siri, open up Pandora. And there you go. Now, I should be able to do the same thing without pressing the button. Hey Siri, open up Google Maps. Hey Siri, find the closest McDonald's.
The closest one I see is McDonald's on Madison Avenue. Does that one sound good?
Yes.
Okay. I can call that location, or get directions to it. What would you like me to do?
Get directions.
Getting directions to McDonald's.
All right, and then I can hit go. So that is a really cool feature. I think the more you can go hands-free, the better off you are. So if you got a little time in your driveway, practice that. And that way, when you're driving down the road, you can keep your eyes on the road. All right, that's it for the infotainment screen and the driver's information screen on the 2021 Toyota Camry. And again, this was the XSE trim level. We hope this has been helpful, and thanks for watching.